So I recently inherited this cabinet which I wanted to use in my lounge, but I feel like although it's quite a retro style, it doesn't really fit in keeping with the rest of the room. We're going for like a botanical theme. We've got lots of cactuses and plants and logs and stuff. So I just want to inject some green and also a botanical film on the glass itself, just so it fits in more with the style of the room. So today what I'm going to do is go for a geometric print on the doors and create some triangles, which I just think is quite trendy and quite fashionable at the moment. And then I've also got a self-adhesive window film, and this is a botanical bamboo style print, and you can still kind of see through it, so it's perfect for a glass if you do still need to be able to peek inside and see what you've got in the cabinet. And I'm going to cover the glass in that. So the great thing about this is that I can still peel it off, and if in a few years time this comes back around and it's fashionable again, I won't have caused any permanent damage. Whereas if I painted this or decided to, I don't know, varnish it or completely change it, I wouldn't be able to reverse it and go back to its original greatness, which at some point it might be fashionable again, so who knows, got to keep the options open. So I'm going to start first of all by measuring the glass, and then I'll cut out the bamboo film so I can stick that on. So in terms of the equipment that I've got for this, I've got everything down here in the lounge ready to go, so I haven't got to keep running off and grabbing bits and pieces. I've got my tape measure, I've got a pencil and scissors so I can just mark out the measurements, and then I've got the dcfix application kit, which comes with a scalpel and a smoother, and that just means you can do any trimming and get rid of any bubbles or creases if any happen when you're putting on the film. Then I've also got a screwdriver, and I've also got some brand new handles, so I'm going to keep on that botanical green theme with the new handles there and just replace those to bring it up to date with some new embellishments. Then I've got a green and taupe coloured solid block colour window, not window, just regular dcfix that I'm going to use for the geometric prints. I've got the self-adhesive window film in a bamboo style for the glass. And then I've got a ruler just to weight down the paper when I'm cutting it, and a cutting mat, only because I'm on carpet here in the lounge, but you could work on a table or something if you're doing this somewhere else in the house. So step number one, measuring. Let's get the maths out of the way. So I'm going to just use this tape measure and measure the glass. And with this particular style, I think as well, because these glass doors are fitted in the cabinet and I can't take them out, I'm going to cut it completely to size. I'm not going to trim away. I'm going to at the edge, but in terms of the length of the glass, I'm going to just do that in one go. So I'm going to start by sticking the top straight section and then working downwards and using my smoother just to stick it on, just to create a lip with the backing paper. So I've got a fold there to pull back on as I stick it to the glass. And on this edge you'll have an overhang, and actually what I should have said is before I stuck this on I made sure that the glass was all completely clean, so just using a regular glass cleaner, spritzed that on there, wiped it all down, just because if there's any dust or grit or dirt or anything like that, it will stop the film from adhering completely, so you just want to make sure it's nice and clean. Use the smoother. Okay, so I've smoothed that right down to the bottom. Now what I need to do is trim off the excess. And also you might notice on this glass panel I haven't already covered, there's kind of like a cutout where your finger or thumb would go to slide the glass back. And what I'm going to do, I was contemplating whether to try and use a hairdryer and push that in, but I've decided I'm going to trim around it and create a cutout just so you can still really clearly see where the handle is. But job number one, just trim this excess off the edge here. So you want to get the scalpel right in flush against the edge of the glass, so then you can get a really nice clean line. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the handle as I said, and I'm actually going to use the red side of this smoother that's in the application kit as a guide, just because it's a rectangle, so then I've got something to butt the scalpel up against. So I'm just going to, almost like a ruler and a pen, I'm just going to draw a line and cut the handle out. And then just peel out that section that you've cut round, and now I've got a nice cut out there where I can see exactly where your finger's going to slide the glass forward and back. So I'm going to repeat the exact same process on the other door now. I won't make you watch me do that because it's going to be the exact same thing again. So the bamboo film's all done on the glass. Now I'm going to move down to the cupboard section, and actually this has got a beveled edge on it, so what I've decided to do, just to keep it simple and a bit more straightforward, is to work with the straight edge. So I'm going to do a geometric style in the green and taupe colours and just sort of arrange those on the front to create a diamond window in the middle. So the first step is to measure the size of the square, as I said, just on the flat edge, not working on the bevel, so it's not going to wrap around the edge of the door. And then also just need to take off the handles because I've got some new replacement ones there just to jazz it up a bit, so I can just unscrew those. You might need a screwdriver, but these ones were fairly loose anyway. So what I need to do now is cut out two 15.5-inch squares in the two different colours, and then from there I'll cut those into triangles. So I've got my two squares now, and I need to create triangles. The green triangle is going to be half of a 15.5-inch square, so I'm literally going to use the ruler to cut from corner to corner. And then with the taupe one, I only want quarters because the green's going to go here, a little mushroom coloured one at the bottom, so that only needs to be a quarter of the square, and then that bit's going to stay cut out. So peeling back the backing paper exactly as we did with the bamboo film, and then lining that up with the edge of the cabinet, keeping the straight line along the top and not wrapping around the beveled edge. And then using the smoother just to push that down and make sure it's completely flat and smooth. So I've done my two triangles. I'm really loving the bold geometric print. I think it's going to work so much better in this lounge as well with all my plants and greenery and stuff. So I'm going to pop one handle on and then repeat the whole process on the other door. Okay, so that is one side done. I'm going to repeat the exact same thing on the other side so then you can see the whole finished product. So for now, I feel like this has completely updated it, brought it up to date, kept it nice and modern, and we can always revert it to the original unit if that does come back around and become fashionable and trendy again. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks really good.